Hey y'all, Kymology here for another Kymology exhibit, and the topic for this exhibit is going to be 30-day challenges. I do not think I have done a dedicated exhibit about 30-day challenges yet, although they have certainly been mentioned in previous exhibits, and if you've been following any of my work, you know 30-day challenges is kind of my jam. And I want to tell you a little bit about why and where it came from so that you can have bigger context for why you may or may not be interested in doing something like that for yourself. Also, because I think that new moons are great times to start 30-day challenges, because new moons are or can be symbolic of new beginnings or starting new things. The symbolism there is that in the darkness, from the darkness to the next full moon, it grows in illumination, goes from dark to full moon. New moon is black, no light moon, and it's not really no light, you just can't see the light, and it grows up until the full moon. So the idea is that you're beginning in darkness like a blank slate and then building over time for something to be illuminated at the full moon. So new moons, new beginnings, time to start things. And any time is a great time to start something. That's something I say and think about New Year's resolutions. And if you're a person who needs, wants, or just likes something to instigate a positive change, significant change, to make a radical something shift in your life, new moons are something that happen about every 30 days. So it's something that happens more than once a year that you could draw on energy or symbolism for. So that's why a new moon. And why 30-day challenges. So 30-day challenges became a significant thing to me. It didn't come from I bought some 30-day challenge or saw or followed some 30-day challenge. I actually started it and did it before I really knew what I was doing. And then after that, it became a thing. So if you ever heard me tell the story of the first 30-day challenge, was a hiking challenge. I did it for 30 days in a row leading up to the time change, because I was anticipating the change of the season and feeling a bit nervous or not excited about lesser light and colder weather. I'm a summer, warm weather, fair weather kind of girl, and not a big fan of winter. So at the time I was really enjoying being outside, and it was really helping me, and didn't want to see that go away, and didn't imagine myself continuing to hike through and into the winter. So I was like, I'm gonna hike as much as I can until it gets cold, or until the time changes and the days get shorter, all this. But it didn't start at day one where I was like, I'm gonna hike every day for 30 days. I just like noticed that I had hiked for a number of days in a row, and then it was more like a don't break the streak, and then it became I'm gonna hike every day, and then eventually I counted it and it was 30 days, something like that. However, after I did that, I felt something towards this 30-day thing, and I very soon after, days after, like started another 30-day challenge, and it was 30 days of yoga, 30 days of words. And since then, there's a number somewhere that I should have committed in my head. I've done dozens of 30-day challenges over the last 8 to 9 years. I've also led other people in their own 30-day challenges. I've shared my 30-day challenges. I've helped other people do theirs. I'm actually I usually offer a guided challenge, usually group or one-on-one, and I often start them around the new moons, hence why I wanted to do an exhibit explaining 30-day challenges. So 30-day challenges aren't special in the way of, like, you see 30-day challenges all over the place, and it's not like an uncommon thing in that way. And I sometimes feel towards it like, why would I pay someone else to do work? Like, why am I paying you for me to do a bunch of work? Is sometimes how it feels, or it's just like one way I've poo-pooed or like anticipated resistance or criticism for my thing. And I mean, I think it's pretty easy to quickly debunk that, because when you go to therapy, you're paying someone else, but you're actually doing the work. When you pay for coaching, you paying someone else, but you're actually doing the work. I mean, shit, you pay the personal trainer and you are doing the lifting. Like, it's So it's pretty easy to say like why we pay for and value other people holding a framework or holding us to standards or desired aspects or outcomes that we are pursuing. So there's that aspect of it, why you might want to do a guided challenge versus one on your own, because if you know anything about your personality or follow some personality or tendency traits, Gretchen Rubin has a great one, the 4 tendencies. It tells us how we respond to expectations, and I don't love the word that she used. It's called obliger. Makes everybody's like, I mean, the word just, I feel like, who would want to be an obliger? It doesn't sound like a nice thing. And in that framework, she says that most people are obligers, which basically just means that you respond best or strongly when there's external accountability, which makes sense why there's so many accountability groups that work for a lot of folks. So one great reason why, also, if you've never done it, you can use someone else's, it's like not having to recreate the wheel. You can use someone else's wheel, make it your own wheel, or if you don't want to make it your own wheel, you don't care if it's you or like special or like yours, then just use somebody else's thing. So that's about using or doing a guided challenge. But the fundamental of a 30-day challenge to me is that I've said over the years, I've come to say, you can do anything for 30 days. And like most things, you can challenge anything and put it in some extreme container and say, well, no, I couldn't do anything for 30 days. I couldn't do this or I couldn't do that. That would hurt me. That would kill me. There are certainly things that you could say, I can't do anything for 30 days. And I argue that if there is something that you are attracted to, have interest in, aspire for, desire, something that you want to call it intuitively, or just have a want or desire about in your life, you have a curiosity, anything like that are the kinds of things that I think are great 30-day challenge things, and should be things that you explore. So whether it's you have this curiosity or wondering about being in better shape, or what if I read more, or what if I paid more attention to my dog or my kids or my spouse, or what if I did that gratitude journaling thing I've heard about, like all these little, they're not even little, these like things that are in our atmosphere that we put on a list that for like a maybe later. And it doesn't even have to be like a little thing on a maybe later list. It could be like a really big thing. It could be something you've tried a number of times and have failed at, or have stopped and started and stopped and started. Those are what I would call topic options for a 30-day challenge. Great things to focus on. So essentially you pick one thing to focus on in a 30-day challenge, and you do it every day for 30 days no matter what. And in the setup, meaning before you start, you set up, I call it rules. Some people get bristly about the word rules, so call it rules, guides, your play aspects, whatever doesn't make you feel, I don't like that about it. You come up with your rules about how you will know if you have done the thing. So if you want to do 30 days of reading, you need to, I would advise that you define that, because what you want to set up is clarity for yourself for the 30 days, so that at the end of any one day, because things are going to be hard, you're going to get busy, or it's going to be like the end of the day and you haven't had time or made time to do your thing, you want to make it really easy. It's a mosquito. I got it. That might have been too enthusiastic for a video about killing something. Still trying not to say I think that's the first time though, so I think I'm getting better. What was I saying though? Pick a thing. Oh, you want to make rules so that it's really easy for you to know if you have done or not done whatever your thing is. So if you just say 30 days of reading and you get to an end of the day and you're like, well, I'm just going to read this email and that counts, you've created like a slippery slope for yourself. So consider it and think about what's important to you and what things you can tangibly or objectively measure. Is it that you want to read 3 pages? Is it that you want to read for 30 minutes? Is that it has to be a book? Does it have to be a topic of something? Is it that it can't be audible or it can be audible. Can you listen to a book and that counts as reading, or is it actually reading? Like, consider the variables for whatever your thing is and choose them. And then also in the choosing, you're choosing things that are realistic but are also not like so realistic it's easy. Otherwise, why are we calling it a challenge? Like, if it's you're already reading the newspaper every day for 10 minutes, then reading the newspaper for 10 minutes shouldn't be your 30-day challenge, maybe. So rules, clear, tangible, objective things that you can say, okay, it's very clear that I did this today. And also being in the realm of realistic, being realistic about the time of where you are in your life, the time of year. So for instance, every time I do a 30-day challenge, I write 1 through 30 on a piece of paper. I look at a calendar, I see what I've got going on there. And if my birthday falls in the middle of 30 and I don't think that I want to be doing whatever my 30-day challenge is for some reason on my birthday, then I may choose a different challenge. I may choose to start at a different time. Ultimately, not like being careful to be connected to yourself to make sure you're not avoiding something and always putting something off. And also being, I'm using the word realistic, although I'm feeling a bit like that might not be the best word for what the sentiment I'm trying to convey. And that you're choosing something that is attainable, because the worst thing that will happen or could happen is that you lukewarm commit to this, don't follow through, and then that's ultimately breaking a promise with yourself, which is a pretty bad thing to do. So I also really emphasize, especially when someone's doing it with me, which is why I think it's a good reason to do it with someone, is that it creates that dynamic for you to, maybe it depends on your personality type, but maybe that creates another level of seriousness for you because you really don't want to break it. Like, if you say I'm going to do this, you need to do this. And if you're a person who has had some repeat instances of saying you're going to do something and not doing something, it could be really powerful and good for you to break that tendency, pattern, or cycle and create confidence with yourself that you can trust yourself. So if you're going to commit, following through, another reason why doing a guided challenge with someone could help you do that. And the last thing I think I want to say as far as aspects, because now I'm just telling you all this stuff and I was really thinking this would be a overlay of 30-day challenges. I guess it is, but I'm also giving you some of the nitty-gritty about it. What was the other thing I wanted to, there was another aspect. Every day, no matter what, why guided, rules. Oh, that it's additive. It's additive, not subtractive, meaning you're adding something to your life and you're not taking something away from in your life. And even if it is something that you are feeling or orienting towards in that way, my framework, the Kymology 30-day challenge framework, is for it to always be additive. I've never done a challenge that's not true. I have a few exceptions. Before, I think I had this clearly figured out for myself. There was one where I did no contact with someone for 30 days, and I think that's the only one. But intuitively, before I had my own rule about what a Kymology 30-day challenge is, that they should always be additive, I intuitively or naturally was doing that, and I do think that is a really important part. So when you work with me, if you have something that comes out as a no, like no alcohol for 30 days or no eating like shit for 30 days, I will help you, if you want me to, reframe it into an additive thing, because one of the other important aspects of a 30-day challenge is that you name it, and that your name is clear and it's also compelling and connected and feels energetically good for you. So it would not be, if you're doing a Kymology style challenge, especially if you're doing it with me in any way, it would not be no cigarettes for 30 days or no alcohol. Again, alcohol, food, those are things that I think usually commonly come up as no. So we would form it into an additive thing in some way. So 30-day challenges, I think anyone can do anything for 30 days. And when I say that, what I really mean is anything that you have a curiosity about, and how powerful it can be when you do a 30-day challenge. Essentially, you are choosing something that you are already gravitating towards or interested in, and you're choosing to focus on it every day for 30 days, no matter what. And the number of things that you can illuminate as we approach the full moon, especially if you start on a new moon, that become illuminated through the process and all the ways that I do it, if you try on my way. But even if you do it all on your own and you just pick a thing and you actually do something for 30 days, no matter what, a lot of stuff comes out. And that's one of the things I've always said whenever I set up my own challenge. It's, this is what I'm doing and I'm going to see what comes up. So that's what 30-day challenges are about for me, the Kymology 30-day challenges. I do them for myself. I do them for others. One of my favorite things to do is to start them on new moons because of the symbolism there. And if you're ever interested in doing one with me, I would probably be excited to hear from you. If you have any questions, comments, or other, please drop them wherever that stuff goes. And thanks. Ciao for now.